You have to know that you already are what you want to be. It's just a matter of tapping into that version of you, that extension of you that's not yet been tapped into or revealed yet. And I really believe dreams to some extent are God just showing you a little peek of what's possible in your life. We do not attract into our lives what we really desire. We attract into our lives who and what we are. And I believe one of the keys to doing that is you have to know yourself before you could love yourself. You want more prosperity, more protection, feel safer, or to be able to protect more people you love. But I can tell you the holy grail of all of it is you want more peace. And so I believe the key to all of these things you want is beginning to walk, talk, act, and most importantly, see and feel as if you already possess these things now. And once you know that, and you create an imagination and a vision for what that's going to look like, and you begin to feel and act as if you already possess that right now, more of these things will chase you than you can possibly imagine in your life. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. So first, just another thank you. I want to thank you so much for sharing the episodes every single week. As many of you know, we were just named the #1 show in the world in our category, and that's because so many of you share our episodes every single week. So this week, I want to discuss 3 P's with you: prosperity, protection, and peace. How's that sound? Want to spend some time talking about that this week? I know I sure do. How many of you would like a little bit more prosperity? Be able to have more protection in your life, feel more protected, be able to protect your family better, and the holy grail of life, have a lot more peace in our lives. And so I want to discuss those with you this week. And, I get asked a lot, we get the questions submitted to what people want me to cover on the show. Oftentimes, it's related or correlated to these topics. One of the things I get asked a lot about is my opinions on the law of attraction. Is it real? How's it really work? On success, on mindset, on can you really think things into your awareness? Can you think and grow rich? Or do you have to think and do to become rich? And rich in every single area. Rich meaning prosperity, rich meaning in protection, and rich in the most important things in our life, which is peace. And so you were born to protect somebody. And that person may be you, to protect your own peace, as Trent Shelton has said at our events. It might be financial protection. I don't know what it is, but I know that it's going to require 2 things. It's going to require prosperity and peace. And I want to talk to you this week about both of those things: prosperity, protection, and peace, in a really condensed, right at you format, because I really believe that it's the most important thing you could do for yourself. And here's the biggest kicker of this whole thing. Everything you need to win is within you right now. Everything you need to win is within you right now. It's a matter of you tapping into it. It already exists within you. You lack nothing. There's no part of what you need to become that you don't already possess. It's a matter of it being dormant inside of you. And we need to tap it so that it becomes alive again. It's like turning a switch on inside somebody that has been off. It's not that the power isn't connected. It's not that you're not ready to go. It's that the switch has been off. And when you flip that switch on, it shines a light into who you really are. If you can actually begin to live life by flipping these switches on at any given time, all of a sudden it starts to give momentum to your life. You're like, oh, I've turned another part of me on, another part of me on, another part of me on. All of this already exists within you. It's just lying dormant, and we need to turn it on right now. And so let's just jump right in, and some of the things that I've learned from my mentors and that I've just discovered in my 53 years on earth. So first thing is this: you have to know that you already are what you want to be. You have to know that you already are what you want to be. It's just a matter of tapping into that version of you, that extension of you that's not yet been tapped into or revealed yet. But that part of you that you want to be, you already are. It's not something outside of you you have to go get. It's an awareness. It's a tapping into. All of that potential was sown into you when you were born. In my faith, you were created in the image and likeness of God. And so all of these things, this is so important to start out today, that you want to be, you already are. There's just a block there that's not allowing you to reveal that version or that extension of yourself, or you haven't tapped into that part of you yet. And so to start out, you've got to live by complete faith in this assumption, and that no, when you have thoughts and feelings that don't serve you, and they enter your awareness, and they're kind of contradictory to that thought, that is not from God. That is not high vibrational frequency. It's low vibrational frequency. In my faith, it would be from the adversary or the devil. Let me say this to you again. You got to live by complete faith in the assumption that it is true that you already are who you want to be. And it's just a matter of discovering that part of you. This is so critical because I think oftentimes people think, I'm just not that way, or that part of me doesn't exist, or I'll never have that, or I've got to go chase this. And it's not outside of you, it's within you. And what's great about life is it's always been within you. It's just not been a part of your awareness. And so when you think a thought that is contradictory to that, know that that's the adversary. If you believe in my faith, you know that that's the adversary. That's not from God. If you don't share my faith, and you think about energy and frequency, which I also believe in, it is the lowest possible vibrational frequency because it's not true. And so it reduces our light, it dims our life. And high vibrational frequency, the highest thing that vibrates at the highest frequency is truth. Truth vibrates at the highest frequency. And so remember these things. Your imagination is a revelation in your life of what's possible. You know, I use the word dream and vision a lot, but in my book, In the Power of One More, I use the word imagination. Imagination in your life is a glimpse of what's possible. It's a revelation. I really believe dreams to some extent are God just showing you a little peek of what's possible in your life, of what your potential is. I don't believe dreams in most cases are hallucinations. And it's your imagination telling you this is possible for you. And so when you live this way, when you believe that you already are who you want to be, now you may need to change some behaviors and some thoughts and tactics so that you tap into that part of you. But this notion that you are not that is a lie. That is the adversary trying to get you to doubt, trying to get you discouraged. Because if I can get you doubting and discouraged, you're going to quit. Or you just won't try as much. Or you'll try without belief. And trying without belief is empty. When we attempt something, we've got to believe. We've got to know. Because when we effort something with knowing, it's much more powerful than hoping. And so when you live this way, you can call all things into existence as if they already did. You can go into a partnership with God and pray about it and call the things into your life and pray for that direction and that discernment to call it into your life. And by doing so, the universe begins to cooperate with you in this assumption. See, when you assume something great's going to happen in your life, if you're a person of faith like I am, if you're a Christian, the Word of God is very clear about what your potential is and how you were made and what the outcomes of your life could be. And even if you're not a person of faith, you are somebody who truly knows that you've seen other people in life that come from less than you acquire great wealth, acquire great protection, acquire peace in their life because they eventually find out it was always there. See, one thing you got to believe is that you're not a conformist. That's what cowards do. Cowards conform to what everybody else thinks. Cowards conform to what people have told them about them. I don't listen to what other people have. If I had listened in my life to what other people had told me as they projected their limiting beliefs upon me when I was an athlete or my intellect or my potential, or even people projecting emotions onto me about me even wanting to be successful. Well, why do you want money? Or why do you want to help so many people? Why isn't where we are good enough? If I'd have allowed conformists to project their small thinking onto my life, it's almost terrifying to think about where I would be in my life right now. And not only that, I would not have the wealth that I've built in my life, but I wouldn't have the protection for my family, and I certainly would never have tapped into peace. Peace is really finally understanding who you are and whose you are. And so you're not a conformist. That's what cowards do. Your job is to partner with God in the creation of your life and to ask for direction, ask for the resources, ask for the right people. Ask for him to help you tap into what is already within you. And so if you can pursue what's already been placed in your imagination, see, here's what really happens, actually. It will begin to pursue you. When you get into this state of knowing the things I've discussed today, and that I'm going to talk about as we go forward, believe it or not, these things will begin to pursue you that you imagine and dream about. It won't be such a grind. I'm not saying you're not going to work and bust it and get after it and overcome adversity and obstacles. That's all part of the game. But what you will find is that more things will pursue you. More people will show up. More circumstances, more opportunities will begin to pursue you if you can start to believe that what's been placed in your imagination. See, I actually think imagination is actually not from our mind. I think imagination is actually from our hearts. We see it and feel it in our mind's eye, but I believe it's generated. Our dreams come from our hearts. And so it'll actually start to pursue you. And when you truly feel it. So, hey guys, I just walked in the studio. We're going to record an episode. And guess what I just did before I walked in? Walked into my pantry, got my AG1s out, poured it in my glass, made myself a drink of AG1s. I do it every single day. For me, I do it a couple times a day. Why do I use AG1? Number one, supports my energy. Number two, digestion. Number three, immunity support. And actually, I feel a different mood when it comes on. My body gets a little bit more calm, yet I've got more energy. I love AG1. One of my commitments is to take AG1 every day in 2025. It's literally on my goal list. So what are your health goals for the year? And I think whatever they are, AG1 can probably help support them. So this new year, try AG1 for yourself. It's the perfect time to start a new healthy habit. AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/EdMylett to get this offer. That's drinkag1.com/EdMylett to start your new year on a healthier note. The fact of the matter is, what you truly believe you are and what you feel yourself to be, you are. You are. You are given that which you are. We do not attract into our lives what we really desire. We attract into our lives who and what we are. People ask me about the law of attraction. My belief is that you don't attract just the things you want or that you desire. You attract who you are, who you believe you are, and what you believe you are. And long term, human beings find a way to be consistent about what they believe about themselves, that the world conspires to deliver to you what you really believe you're worth, what you believe you're capable of, what you can most actually believe you already are. You are given that which you are long-term in life. And for a long time in my life, particularly when I was younger, I thought, well, that's just absolutely not true. I didn't choose to grow up in an alcoholic family with my dad using drugs. I didn't choose to, not be 6'5" and be able to dunk a basketball. These aren't things of my choosing. But the fact of the matter is, of the things that matter in life, I have found in my life that I eventually attract who I believe I am. And I've been given in my life the people, the places, the circumstances that I believe I'm not just worthy of, but that I believe I'm capable of. And so when you can adopt the feeling that would be yours already as if you were already in possession of something. Let me say this again, maybe a little bit more clearly. If you can begin to work on having the feeling that would be yours as if you already were in possession of something, and you can rehearse that feeling over and over again, repetitively acting in congruency with it, you walk and you talk, etc., as if you already possess it, that you begin the process of thoughts are magnets of drawing those circumstances into your life. So let me say this to you again. I want you to begin to work on adopting the feeling that would be yours if you were in possession of that vision or dream for your life. So that thing you imagine, that relationship, that body, that amount of wealth. We talked about prosperity. That's the wealth part. Protection could be that you feel in a relationship you're safe in, or you've built, protection for your own family, and that you can physically or financially defend yourself or spiritually defend yourself. And then peace in your life. See, if you can actually begin to adopt the feelings and the emotions repetitively, and you begin to create that, what we'll just call chemistry in your body, that neurobiochemistry in your body that's consistent with that, of the dreams and the things that you imagine. And when you rehearse that feeling repetitively over and over again, what happens when you rehearse it is you become familiar with it and your mind moves towards what it's most familiar with. And because you're familiar with this and you are acting and feeling as if you possess it, you begin to behave in a way. Behaviors, your habits and rituals change. The way you walk, you talk, you act, the choices you make daily. And all of a sudden, you begin to draw those things to your life, not just because of some magnetic, whimsy manifestation thing. No, it's that. Plus, you're beginning to see things because of the way your reticular activating system works in your brain that were always there but you missed, or hear things that were always there but you didn't hear, or feel things that were always there but you didn't feel. And on top of all of that, you're starting to take actions that are congruent with that version of you that already existed, whereas before you weren't. So it's not just some, draw it into your life thing, although that's part of it. You will begin to behave differently as that character in the story, simply because you begin to rehearse and adopt these feelings, because we attract who we are. If you can begin to feel You guys, I work very hard when I set up a goal or there's something I'm really envisioning. I'll repeat it over and over and over again. And I've learned to rehearse the feeling I have as if I already possess it. And I'm convinced that I already do, that it's already within me, that I already have it. And so most of the times when I've reached most of my goals, quite honestly, it wasn't a surprise when I got there because I had been living as if I possessed that emotion, that feeling, that thing, that relationship, that whatever it might be, for a very long time prior to it actually showing up or manifesting itself in my life. Really, be it is the point. I learned from Wayne Dyer many years ago, my mentor, that really who you are and the person that you truly are, there's really two of us. There's an ego part of us, and that part of us is really concerned about what you possess, how much you have, what's mine, he would say. And that version of you it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But the ego is always concerned about what's mine, what's mine, what's mine. And to some extent, we believe if something is mine, it can't be yours. And so oftentimes, when we believe that, there's a subconscious, unconscious thing that happens with a good person. And a good person thinks, well, if I acquire that thing, it's taken from someone else, as if these things are finite. And so that there's a block in many good people that think, well, if I do get wealthy, someone else has to get poor. Or if I am happy, that's at the expense of someone else. And that's a fallacy. And so this idea, the ego about what's mine, it doesn't serve us, because if you're a good person with an ego, you begin to think you're taking from someone else, and most people won't do it. They won't take from someone else. Now, that's a false belief. But then Wayne would talk about what he would call the sacred self. And the sacred self, which I believe to be so true, this is the person of you walking in congruence with God, with whatever your scriptures are. That person just wants one thing, and that's to be at peace. That's what you really want. You don't want a bunch of stuff you can't take with you. Having said that, prosperity is one of the key things we've talked about today, and will. So is protection. One of the great things about being wealthy is you can protect your family. They can live in a safer place. If they need something, their car needs repair, they've got a health issue, or help with something, you can protect them. So that's a great part of it. But the ego is concerned about what's mine, and somehow we actually begin to believe subconsciously that if it's mine, we've taken it from this other person, and that's why we actually don't possess it, because we're a decent human being. We don't want to take, we want to give. And so what if the truth is that what you really want is peace? What you really want is peace, but you think if I had more prosperity and I had more protection, then I could afford myself the time to work on my peace. And what I'm saying to you is that you can have all three, and all three of them already exist within you. The key thing is to give to others that which you want most in your own life, to give people protection, to give people all the gifts of them being more prosperous in their life in any way that you can, to give people the gift of kindness and grace and peace, because it's the true way that you tap into your own. See, you can't transfer to somebody that which you're not experiencing yourself. The greatest gift you can tap into yourself in the sacred version of you is what I call peace. In my book, In the Power of One More, I write a chapter on equanimity. Equanimity to me basically means peace even under duress, even under stress. That when you can find peace, even in the most tumultuous times, in the most difficult times, you've tapped into the most powerful and amazing gift God gave you. The most unbelievable part of you as a man or a woman is your ability to find peace even under duress. And then when you find that peace in your life, which is what you really want, the prosperity and the protection is a very natural byproduct. When I say peace, I don't just mean in unison with God, although that's the most important one. Let me tell you the type of peace that I would love for you to have, if I could wish a gift for you, above the peace of God, which goes beyond all understanding. Peace with you. To be at peace with yourself. To be at peace with yourself. I love me. I like me. I've tapped into all of the good things that God gave me that were always there. Finding peace with yourself and loving yourself is one of the most sacred gifts you can ever give you. And I believe one of the keys to doing that is you have to know yourself before you could love yourself. And so the parts of you that you need to know is that all of these beautiful gifts already exist within you. But I think there's a part of life of self-discovery where we have to see ourselves behaving in congruence with who we really are to truly give ourselves that gift. Now, that shouldn't be the case, right? But I can tell you that I think to be at peace with yourself, you have to know yourself. And to know yourself is to act in congruence with who you truly are. So if I'm right, that all of these great things that you think you want already exist within you, and if you can begin to adopt that belief and act and feel as if you're that person already, what I'm saying to you is you'll find a peace within yourself that will give you every other thing you want in your life, and these things will begin to pursue you. So yes, I am saying you need to change the way you behave. You need to start to act like the woman you're capable of being. You need to start acting like the man you're capable of being. See, ask yourself this, the protection part. Who should you be protecting in your life? Do you have children that you need to be protecting better than you are? Financially, spiritually, emotionally? Do they need to see a happier version of mom or dad? Are you charged with protecting your parents? Maybe you're young, listening to this, and at some point your mom and dad are going to need you to protect them like they protected you, right? Is it your brothers or sisters? Is it friends of yours? Is it you? Do you need to do a better job of protecting you? Not allowing the wrong people in your life and toxic people to come into your life and hurt you over and over again. What is it? Who are you charged with protecting? Because that's part of your calling in life. Prosperity is a birthright of yours. I don't just mean wealth. Prosperity is a right to feel prosperous, to feel as if you're growing, to feel as if you're expanding. And when you are tapping into those parts of you and changing the way you behave, you're going to begin to like you a lot more. You're going to begin to love you a lot more. Hey guys, it's a new year. Let's save some money. Let's get organized. Let's get a budget. Let's figure out where we're spending money that we don't want to spend or never thought we were spending. And that's where Rocket Money comes in. I saved $750 on Rocket Money. Had a bunch of subscriptions I don't even remember signing up for, but that I was getting dinged for every single month. And it's probably happening to you. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. You can see all your subscriptions in one place, know exactly where your money's going. For ones that you don't want anymore, Rocket Money will help you cancel them. So hey, cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Mylett today. That's rocketmoney.com/Mylett. rocketmoney.com/Mylett. So how do you create that new life you want, that new you that you're looking for? How do you change stuff, right? It's the great question that I get asked all the time. And it's a mixture between what you do and what you think. I think Think and Grow Rich is one of the greatest books I've ever read. At the same time, in fact, it's the number one book after the Bible that I recommend people read. Then I recommend The Power of One More by me. Having said that, I don't believe you just think and things happen. I don't believe you just sit there and meditate and things are drawn into your life. But I believe it a little bit. I believe it's part of the equation. I believe what you think about causes you to behave differently, causes you to vibrate differently, causes you to pray differently. I know that what you think about and what you believe about yourself, you tap into. And so it's true that you probably right now ask yourself, what are 3 or 4 of your biggest dreams and goals in your life? Whether that's a new relationship or a certain level of prosperity, as we've talked about. Relationship probably falls under protection, that you feel safe and loved and believed in and cared for. That may be through a new, intimate relationship. It may be a new friend that you want in your life. It may be a new business partnership. And then peace in your life. What are the real emotions of just true peace you want to have? And if you begin to think through that, people ask me all the time, Ed, what's the key? There's no one key, but I can tell you that the things we're discussing today matter. And if anything I have seen in my life is that long term in our lives, we end up getting out of life who we believe we are. Now, I talk oftentimes about the thermostat analogy. And I just want to share this with you again. It's been stolen by enough people in personal development the last couple decades. But I know you've heard this. Some of you may say this if you watch my work. But even if you have, hear it differently today. There's a thermostat on your life, and it is your identity. But what's different about how I explain this now is, what is identity? I used to say, Identity is the thoughts, beliefs, and concepts that you believe to be the most true about you. And that is true. But I want to add something to it. I think your identity is the parts of you that you truly believe you can tap into. And the limitations on your identity are your blind spots of not knowing who you really are, so you don't tap into those parts of you. That if it were true that this person you want to be, you already are, and that your identity is only limited by your ability to believe you are that person, that's a little bit of new look on identity. And so your identity, this part of you, and it is limited, let me say again, by your lack of awareness of who you really are, or your limited awareness of who you are. And that if you expand your awareness of who you are as a being, as a man or a woman, and understand that you already are this person that you want to be, that you just need to tap into that level of you, that part of you, that would expand your identity. But that identity limits us. It's like a thermostat setting on our life. So in the studio, it's actually cold in here today. It's about 70 degrees. Outside, it's about 80 right now. The thermostat, the setting in this life, how I feel, is not dictated by what's going on outside of this room any more than how you feel is dictated by what's going on outside of you. That doesn't affect it. The thermostat setting does. So even though it's 80 degrees outside, this thermostat setting cools the room back down to 70, which is its thermostat setting. That's how your life works. So what I see happen in life often is people start acquiring the skills short term, or the relationship short term, or they get the momentum in their life, but their identity is 70 degrees. But all of a sudden they start producing the results 75, 80, 85 degrees of whatever that is: wealth, protection, relationship, emotions, happiness, bliss, peace, success. And they're at 85, 90, 95, and the results are getting better and better, except they haven't changed who they really believe they are. And subconsciously, unconsciously, eventually what they do is they turn the air conditioner on of their life and they cool it back down to who they believe they are at 70 degrees. So that money they've accumulated, all of a sudden, car breaks down, had to loan this money, lost some in the market. And it seems all coincidental, but it's not. It's you turn the air conditioner on. Or that relationship you had was going great and then all of a sudden you grew apart. That seems like it, but what really happened is you turned the air conditioner on of your life and you cooled it back down to 70 degrees, which is who you believe you are. That body, you'd lost weight, you were fit, you were working out, and all of a sudden, 6 months, a year later, maybe you've put a little bit of that weight back on, or maybe you've lost some of that muscle mass. And you go, well, I got busy at work and my diet changed and the gym closed. No, it wasn't any of that. It's not external. It's not the 80 degrees outside. It's that inside you believe you're a 70 degreeer and you've cooled it back down. What I have now begun to realize is this limiting belief of who we are is only a lack of awareness of what already exists within inside of us. And so I believe the key to all of these things you want is beginning to walk, talk, act, and most importantly, see and feel as if you already possess these things now. You already are that man or woman now, which you are, by the way. And eventually, long term, what happens is you begin to draw around you other people who live in that thermostat setting that you need to have. They live at 85 or 90 or 100 or 200 in the area in which you dream of being. And once you've drawn those people into your life, they begin to heat you up somewhere in between their thermostat setting and yours. They begin to see in you. What does a great leader do? A great leader sees your potential, don't they? A great leader sees something in you, believes in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. Well, those leaders are your friends. But what this leader is really doing is seeing the true you. They're not seeing a false you. They're seeing who you really are, and you are blinded by your life's experiences, your traumas, your letdowns, your limited amount of success, the hurts you've gone through, the setbacks. And so this has dulled your thinking. The Bible says where the people have no vision, they will perish. But oftentimes there's a vision, it's just blurry. You just can't quite see who you really are, or there's a depth perception issue and you just believe all these things are further away than they are. It's changed your perception of how far things are when they were always right here. In fact, you always possessed them. And so I have to tell you that when you begin to change these things about you, you begin to become the real you. And the real you already has these things. The real you already feels these things. The real you can have all of the peace he or she wants, all of the prosperity you desire, all of the protection. It's already within you. As a person of faith, I know I'm protected. I have the comfort of God, the armor of God. And so this identity stuff is everything. This feeling is everything. This knowing who you are is everything. And it requires intentionality. It requires work because you've been this limited person all your life. And this person's a great person. And they've had a good life maybe. But there's always been a part of you that knows you were born for more, created for more. And it's one of those three or all of those three. You want more prosperity, more protection, feel safer, or to be able to protect more people you love. But I can tell you the holy grail of all of it is you want more peace. You want more peace. I think that peace comes from peace with God and peace with oneself. And peace with oneself is beginning to know who you really are. See, I'll just give you a little things on faith. There's really two frames of reference in life. I write about it in The Power of One More. Frame of reference number one are people that live their life. We call these prisms or filters. They live their life operating out of history and memory. History and memory. They're always the person lamenting about the past or even reminiscing or romanticizing the past. I was a high school quarterback. I got my master's degree. This previous thing. They talk about the past all the time. They operate out of memory. They'll tell you about the things that happened to them that were good or bad in their life over and over. But these are people whose life reference, frame of reference, prism or filter is the past or memory. And they constantly live there. What I have found is that people that live in that frame of reference have a very hard time finding peace, almost impossible time finding protection and prosperity. Now, the other frame of reference is someone they operate out of imagination and dreams. These people are happier. These people are increasing. These people are expanding. These people are writing the new chapters of their life and not living in the past. This is a small group of people who have chosen to live their life out of imagination, vision, and dreams, and not history and memory. And so if you're someone listening to this or watching, you go, man, I'm kind of the person who looks back, who thinks about the past. I reminisce about it, or I lament it. I reference it. I'm always overcoming it. Whatever that is a formula for no prosperity, protection, or peace. If you can begin to change your frame of reference, begin to operate out of imagination and vision and dreams, and be present when you're doing it, but to begin to see a future that's brighter, to tap into the parts of you that exist and know if I start tapping in to who I really am, that I can begin to live. See, the great thing about imagination, if you can imagine you already possess that goal, imagine you already possess that promotion, that car, that body, that wealth, that home, that relationship, that peace, and you begin to feel the feelings as if you already possessed it. And you're imagining the future as if you have it now. This is someone who's very difficult to get down, very difficult to keep broke, very difficult to not protect their family, really difficult long-term not to find some peace. And so this idea of operating out of the two prisms of imagination and dreams and vision as opposed to history and memory is huge. And by the way, I won't say this to sell you anything. If you want more information on all these things, get The Power of One More in my book. It sold 1 million copies. There's a lot in there. And so, but for today's podcast, take a look at that frame of reference for you and where you're operating, because I know everything you want operates out of imagination, vision, and dreams. And just remember these few things. It'll just give you some peace, okay? One, you're a child of God. You're adopted as a child of God, and you're heirs to all of his kingdom and glory. You're redeemed. You're redeemed. You can have a new identity at any time you want in your life. Anytime you want in your life. You're also a living temple. You're a temple for God. Your body is a temple for the Holy Spirit. Your body is the place where you're going to live all of your life. And getting closer to that body, giving yourself the gift of moving your body physically and breathing and taking a walk and hydrating and doing all these things of feeding your temple will begin to convince you that you're in possession of these things. You can also be friends with God. If you don't have friends around you that are supporting you, you can build a friendship with God. You also represent God, and you're united with him, and you're set free by all of that. You're chosen too, by the way. You're chosen, and you're blessed. And so I just want to remind you of all these things in your life. You can tap into any of these things at any time you want to because they already exist within you. It's who you are. When I say often on the show that you were born to do something great with your life, I mean it. I also know it. You were born to do something great with your life. And once you accept that, let me say it to you again, my friend. I'm just here to love you and believe in you. You were born to do something great with your life. And it already exists within you. And once you know that, and you create an imagination and a vision for what that's going to look like, and you begin to feel and act as if you already possess that right now, more of these things will chase you than you can possibly imagine in your life. I wish you continued and increased prosperity. I want to challenge you to protect your family and your loved ones. And you. Protect your peace, most of all. I wish you continued blessings of more peace in your life, and that maybe today's show helped you tap into some of those thoughts and feelings. Rehearse these things in your mind. Feel as if you already possess them. You will eventually attract into your life who you are and what you are. All right. God bless you. Share today's episode. Max out.